after we make bigger career choices, that's when we make decisions. And that is why, if you actually see, most women after marriage or after they take bigger choices like, career, they have a lot of self-doubts, and they constantly question themselves, like, am I balancing between home? Am I balancing between home and work? Am I balancing between children and the other homemaker duties? Am I doing it right? I'm constantly told that I'm not good enough, or made to feel that I'm not good enough, and the journey continues, right? Actually relate to this question, that yes, we were constantly corrected all throughout our life, be it parents, teachers, sometimes our own peer groups, sometimes it's the siblings. Yes, we are, right? So the first thing that we need to understand here is, when we are constantly being corrected, we always have a doubt in our mind as to, should I go with what I think is right, or should I go with what the other person says is right, which is the right path? And the moment we start questioning ourselves like this, you're already on the path of self-doubt, and the indecision starts from there. If you actually ask yourself this question, when was it that I actually started taking bigger decisions? Like, what was the age group? If you ask me, I will say that, until I chose my subject in college, I think that was the bigger choice. Thankfully, I had parents who supported my choice, because psychology way back then was a very scary thing to take up, because we didn't have a future then. But thankfully, as I moved on, the bigger decisions in life is marriage. After marriage, when you have your children, that's when the decision making process starts. Until then, we are almost told what is right, what is wrong, how we are supposed to behave, what should be our goal. So we are guided, right? So suddenly, when we are left independent after marriage, or after we make bigger career choices, that's when we make decisions. And that is why, if you actually see, most women after marriage or after they take bigger choices like, career, they have a lot of self-doubts, and they constantly question themselves, like, am I balancing between home? Am I balancing between home and work? Am I balancing between children and the other homemaker duties? Am I doing it right? I'm constantly told that I'm not good enough, or made to feel that I'm not good enough, and the journey continues, right? So if we actually look at the vicious cycle that self-doubt creates, self-doubt actually creates a sense of inadequacy. I constantly feel that I'm not good enough. I constantly feel that I'm incomplete. I constantly feel that I'm insufficient. I need to come up with a better version of myself. So as a result, what happens is, there is that constant restlessness to improve myself, to work on myself, whatever be the trait. I'm constantly on the go. I need to be better. I need to be better. Now, there is a lot of emptiness which comes up from the sense of inadequacy. Like, at the core, when I tell myself constantly that I'm not good enough, because I'm told that I'm not good enough, we develop a sense of inadequacy, and we try to prove ourselves constantly. And this is where the struggle begins. So I'm not just I'm not just trying to prove myself to myself. I'm also trying to prove my self-worth to probably parents, to siblings, to friends, to peer group. to larger society. And that's where our journey begins. I would like to cite a case example here. As a clinician, it surprised me because, I grow as a clinician, right? I learn a lot from my clients. And sometimes they change me as a person because the kind of insights they give are beautiful. So once, I think when I was handling a 36-year-old client who heads an organization, she heads an organization for animal welfare, and she's really thriving in her career, but for whatever be the reasons, she couldn't conceive until she was 36. So she approached counseling because she was going through an infertility treatment. The cycles themselves, the IVF cycles themselves are very, very stressful for the clients because they have to go through a lot of pain. It's not that easy. So she wanted to seek help. So that's how she reached out to me. And I was quite surprised to listen to her self-doubt narratives, because until then I was thinking that, she had a full-fledged career, flourishing career. So it would be easy for her to handle at least some aspect of disturbances in the home front, just in case if there are any. But I was quite surprised to listen to her narrative. So she tells me during the session that, Gayatri, I really feel upset that people at home don't consider that I am a successful woman in the career. They only point out that I wasn't able to become a mother. I have gotten married late, or rather, because I have prioritized my career, I have gotten married at the age of 34, and hence the childbirth is now delayed. And they often hold me responsible for not being able to become a mother normally. Uh, so that was the first time I was actually taking up someone from reproductive health concern. So I was really, really surprised to listen to those narratives. I think that is where I started thinking about self-doubt being an underlying concept for all women across all ages. And beautiful insights that I have found as during this journey is, if I become mother early, that's a problem. If I become mother late or it is delayed, that's a problem. If I prioritize home and stay at home, they tell me that, you should have worked on your career, you should have more, become more independent. If I prioritize career over home and I try to become financially independent, they make me feel guilty that you're not giving enough time at home. So constantly there is that judgment spectacle through which every woman lives. Now, it doesn't really matter whether you're educated, uneducated, homemaker, career woman, mother, yet to be a mother. You're judged for whatever be the reason. And that little black dot we all have that black dot. If I have an entire white paper and I just have that one black dot on the white paper, I'm constantly being reminded of just that black dot. So obviously I would feel inadequate, right? So the first step for the women here, for the women and the men who are raising women or who are raising girl children, the first step is, please don't make our women feel inadequate. I think we need to have a sense of compassion. We need to have a sense of understanding. So if someone comes to you with a bout of self-doubt saying that, I've taken a break after becoming a mother, I'm unable to start my career, I don't think I'll get the same salary package as I got before, so should I go down, or should I accept the cut down in my salary? So if they, whatever be the self-doubt questions, listen to them and see if you can help them come to their own solution. All they need is listening. The moment you actually advise, or the moment you make them feel that the decision that they have taken is wrong, you lose the woman, and you're actually damaging the core. The first step is, don't make our women or girl children feel inadequate, because feeling adequate is actually a journey. None of us are adequate, and if someone tells that I'm adequate, I think that's a lie. I wouldn't be saying that as a psychologist myself. I'm inadequate myself. So how can I expect the other person to be perfect and adequate? So the moment somebody is opening up about their inadequacies, it's a vulnerable conversation. You have to be with the person, see if you can uplift their confidence and make them feel good about themselves rather than damaging their core. That's the first step. As we move on, as you've seen the slide, when I constantly give myself or talk to myself that I am not good enough, I don't think I'm better than others, others are doing much well in their lives, I'm not thriving in my life. So when I constantly use these kind of narratives to talk to my own self, there are a lot of fears that we develop. Most people who undergo self-doubt for a longer period of times, they have a lot of fears which they find it very difficult to deal with or battle with. Now, what are these fears? A little insight into the fears. The fears are usually that of rejection, abandonment, and failure. I'm broadly categorizing based on the clientele that I have seen. This is purely coming in from my experience. There could be other fears also, but I'm just broadly categorizing based on my experience. So abandonment, rejection, and failure are the significant fears I see in women. So failure is mostly to do with, the academic or the career pursuits. Often I see that, young children, young girl children, by the time they touch their teens, like 13, 14, I usually see a dip in their confidence between when compared to like the boy children. There is usually a dip in their confidence, and the research also supports the same thing. Like whatever I have experienced, research also supports the same thing, that the girls who, when they enter their teenage, they experience a dip in their confidence, and this is usually because of the way they look. Most girl children have body image issues, because that's when there are a lot of hormonal changes. So there are acne, the weight issues, not being able to look good all the time. And they're constantly like commented upon how they look and how they, how they carry themselves. So most children, girl children, experience a dip in their confidence just because of their body image issues, right? Now, usually these fears can lead to, like when I'm having body image issues, I might feel that I might be rejected in interpersonal relationships. I might feel that I'm not as good looking as my friends around, or probably I might not be commented, or I might not be complimented by members of the opposite sex about how I look. So there are a whole lot of fears of rejection there. Sometimes when the rejection fear kind of escalates over a period of time, they have a fear that they are being abandoned or excluded. They don't feel included. They feel that all the other friends are smart, I'm not. Or if it is a homemaker who's actually going through abandonment fear, the homemaker might tell herself that, probably others in the family are not including me, I'm somehow different from them. Or she might say that, other students or other classmates of hers who are working and she's at home, she might tell herself that, oh, they're all working and settled, I am still at home, so I don't think they would be interested in talking to me. So these are the narratives. This is how they talk to themselves, and they feel abandoned, they feel left out or excluded. The other bigger fear is the fear of failure. The fear of failure is usually in the academic and career pursuits, where they feel that, they're not doing as good as others. Like, I'm not as good a student as the other students or other classmates in my class or my friends, or I'm not doing as good as others in career. My career has taken a back seat while others are thriving. So constantly we will have fears, and some or the other fear will occupy our thoughts, and that's when we will start thinking excessively, right? And moving on, this is a link. I want you to understand the link here, because I would be spending significant time on this slide, because if we understand this slide, we have understood the journey between self-doubt and self-acceptance. So the self-doubt starts from a sense of inadequacy. We pick up significant fears in life, and shame and guilt. I think these need no explanation, right? These are intense emotions which most women go through, and men also,